Okay, this is Thursday. Notes and assignment for exponents, and so make sure you have the pink paper today. Kind of hard to tell in the video, but it is pink. Okay, so. And we're going to continue talking about exponents, and we're going to use the rule that we just learned yesterday. So this one says 2 squared, all of it raised to the 4th power, which means I write this whole thing 4 times. And so I already wrote that out for you. And then we're going to use the rule from yesterday, which means if we're multiplying the same base, we add the exponent. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 gives me 8. So it's 2 to the 8th power. And the same thing here. 5 cubed to the 3rd power means I write that whole thing 3 times. And so I already wrote it out for you 3 times. And then we're going to use our rule from yesterday. If we multiply the same base, we add the exponents. 3 plus 3 plus 3. So I have 5 to the 9th power. And then the last one, x cubed to the 4th power means I write x cubed 4 times. So here it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if I'm multiplying the same base, I add the exponents. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 gives me 12. So I have x to the 12th power. And what you need to be able to see is how do I really get from the original to the single power without doing this in between step. And if we look at our exponents, this little parenthesis is like a multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 4 is 12. So what's happening is this is called the power of a power property. If I have something raised to a power and then raised to another power, I multiply the powers. Okay? So if I look here at number 7, it's very similar to what we did up here. 3 to the 7th power raised to the 4th power means I take my exponents and I multiply. So I have 3 to the 28th power. X to the 6/5 power, all raised to the 25th power. I take that and I multiply. And I get 30, so x to the 30th power. And if you're not sure how I got 30, type 6/5 times 25, and you'll get 30. The last one, z to the 5th raised to the 3rd power, means I take these and I multiply, and I get z to the 15th power. All right, the hard part comes in whenever I put a coefficient in front. So this example, 2x to the 4th power means I write 2x 4 times, which I did. And then I take my 2's. Well, how many 2's are there? This is 2 to the 4th power. And how many x's are there? That's x to the 4th power. And what I would like for you to do is type in 2 to the 4th power on your calculator. And it's this little caret key. It's next to the x squared button. So find this key to put 4 in. And if you put 2 to the 4th power in, you will get 16 x to the 4th. So the difference here is that coefficient and making sure that we multiply those exponents. So here's 1, 1, 1, 1, right? There's an invisible 1 on the 2. There's an invisible 1 on the x, and we add them all up. All right, so this one here, we have negative 4a to the 3rd power, which means I write it out 3 times. And so it shows me that I have 1, 2, 3 negative 4's. So negative 4 to the 3rd power. And then I also have 3 a's. If I type negative 4 to the 3rd power in my calculator, I would get negative 64. and then we say a to the third power. All right, if I don't have any coefficients, but let's say I have two different variables, I still write it out. I would write it out 4 times, but then I would add them up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. Remember, we add those together, so I get x to the 12th, y, and I have 4 of those, and we add them together, y to the 8th. And if I were to look at this, though, it's like I'm multiplying 4 times 3 and 4 times 2. I'm multiplying exponents. All right, here, 2x to the 5th raised to the third power. I wrote it 3 times. So how many 2's do I have? There are 3 of them. How many x's do I have? 5, 10, 15 of them. If you type in 2 to the third power, you will get 8, and then x to the 15th. Okay, so here if I'm distributing that 3, it goes to the 5, and it also goes to an invisible 1 that you probably should write in. So what you have to remember is that exponents multiply exponents. You cannot multiply an exponent and a coefficient. So I did not multiply 2 times 3. That would have given me 6, and that would have been incorrect. I multiplied the exponent of 1 times 3, which gave me 2 to the third power. And if I type that in, I get 8, or 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. Okay? So let's practice with these ones. Number 10. 3x to the 5th squared, and we're going to use the rule, which says we take this 2 and we multiply it by the exponents. So the exponents here are 5 and invisible 1. I need you to write that 1 in. And what will happen is we get 3 squared x to the 10th. And 3 squared is 9. It's 3 times 3, so 9x to the 10th. All right, number 11. We take this exponent and we multiply it by the other exponents. So 1/2 of 8 is 4, so c to the 4th. 1/4 of 8 is 2, so d squared. Number 12. We take the 7 and we multiply by all the exponents. So I get x to the negative 21, y to the 42, and z to the 56. Make sure your exponents look like little numbers at the top. And then the last one is actually multiple parts. So I have to first look at this part here. And that's saying this 3 is going to all of these exponents. And again, there's an invisible 1. Write it in on that 2. So this becomes, I'm going to keep it in parentheses, 2 to the third power, x to the 6th, y to the 15th. And then I'm going to look at this one here. And this 2 is being multiplied by negative 2 and the invisible 1 on that 3. And so this becomes 3 squared x to the negative 4. Now I'm going to figure out what 2 cubed is, and we already did that earlier. 2 cubed was 8. So this is really 8 x to the 6th, y to the 15th. And 3 squared, we figured that out earlier, was 9. 9x to the negative 4. At this point, it looks like our lesson from yesterday, where we multiply the coefficients, so that gives me 72. and then we add the exponents. 6 and negative 4 give me x squared. And then there's no other y, so I just bring down y to the 15th power. All right, this is one of the harder exponents just because a lot of people miss the exponent on the coefficient. So you have to write that one in, and you have to remember that exponents multiply exponents. They do not multiply coefficients. All right, I need you to answer the summary question. Edward simplified the expression 2x to the 4th all cubed and got 6x to the 12th. Is he correct? Why or why not? All right, so remember, this gets multiplied by the exponent. So it should say 2 to the 3rd, x to the 12th. And 2 to the 3rd is 8, x to the 12th. So is he correct? No. He is incorrect. Because he multiplied the exponent and the coefficient. Exponents multiply exponents. All right, at this point, turn your paper over, and you are going to go back to Google Classroom and find the quizzes that says Exponents Day 2. And this is all the power to a power rule. So this is where you're going to multiply. Exponents multiply exponents. Okay, anytime you have a coefficient, put that invisible 1, like on here, number 9. There's an invisible 1 on that 2, and so exponents multiply exponents. So I'll give you a hint. It should say 2 to the 3rd, and then you can figure out your x to the 9th and y to the 15th. Okay, but figure out what this equals. So that's my hint.